Hello everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I was looking for the button for live stream also to go to YouTube, but I couldn't find it. Another time. In any case, hello everyone. Let me do two things. Share the screen, that's number one. There you are. That's the screen. And on that screen, what I really need is our advances in AI. That's number one. And number two, also to say hello to everybody here on chat. That is right here, chat. Okay. Hey, and what I'm doing is saying hello, everyone. And yes, Christian did it right. He said hello from Santiago, and I will tell you hello from Houston, Texas. And we have one more from Houston, Texas. How nice. Okay, great. So you guys continue. I know that we'll have lively conversations. That is often the case. But I will not waste your time. I will go through what I'm going to go. Okay, so what I want to talk two things about is this and that, but also don't forget Andrew Ng came up with some interesting point of view about AI engineers. So we'll get to that. Okay, but to start with this, okay, there is a new course, a new application. Looked very interesting, but I couldn't quite figure out, well, what is it there for me and you? And then I figured it out. So that's what it is. You can build stuff essentially with Airflow. Airflow is a pipeline building tool. Okay, it's an open source, it's Apache Airflow. It exists by itself, and that's what I will show you a little bit. Not a live demo this time, I just talk about it and pictures. And what is Astronomer is a platform, essentially just like a cloud, but you can run it in any cloud. So again, that's a platform to build Airflow applications. Even though, yes, orchestration tool, thank you, Parag, that's a great definition. So it is something that you can use anywhere, but put on any cloud, add the necessary components. What they have done is exactly that. They have put it on any cloud, that's Astronomer. They have, let me, well, there you are, put in color. And they have given you essentially a platform to run Airflow. Now, let us go a bit more in details. Right here, I prepared those pictures for Astronomer, and I will show you these pictures. Now, what am I bringing to you as opposed to, well, just go and take the course, is that it's a quick introduction. Yeah, you can then take the course if you want. I'm just a bit surprised. It should start from here, I think. Okay. So, and then I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what I think. I will give you a use case. That's our next step. And then it will be complete. And I will want your opinion anytime, but you don't hesitate. I know you do give your opinion the right way. Okay. So the idea is that, first of all, let us promote the idea of Airflow and what it is. It is a tool for orchestration. And the basic idea is simple. You have notebooks. They're good things. Everybody runs notebook. I'm running one right now. That's a notebook. But going back, it is good for what it is good. If you want to build a working system that has multiple cells, okay? So even I have one cell to do my OCR, as you can see what it says, and another one to do processing. So there are at least two cells. So those two cells would be nice to do something better than just run them in this wonderful environment. And what you can do is you can automate the execution of any specific cell. You can watch that cell. You can see, did it work or it did not? And if it didn't, can you retry it? Should you retry? You also potentially want to scale it up. What if you have the famous limitations of the throttling of your model? You're buying it from somewhere. I run into this all the time with models on Azure. Well, that's just because I'm an Azure, but any other cloud will have throttling. So if you want to go from the notebook to a great tool that will go well beyond just running with the node step by step, that's where a pipeline will be good. Okay. And the way you do it is similarly pretty easy. You take this little cell that works. You know that, well, in that particular case, we discussed the regular reg application. So in the reg application, we will embed or convert our text to numbers. That's the famous embedding, and then store it in the database. That could be an example of one or multiple cells, which will be translated into one or multiple steps in the Airflow. Now let me look at the comments that are there. Okay. All right, Lance wants to do a demo on agentic software development in IntelliJ. That will be awesome, Lancer. Right? So, Lancer, do this. Write to me at mark at ElephantScale. Elephant like a big animal with a trunk, and scale like the scale of a fish. So write an email and we'll agree. Yeah, I'll be happy. Why should I be talking all the time? I want other people to talk. All right. Thank you. Now, here we are. We're talking about an introduction to the advantages of, first of all, orchestration, and then here's the tool called Airflow. And that's what you could do. That would be a first pipeline. And that's already a picture of Airflow. Then this is Airflow for you. So if you want to go just a bit deeper, you will have to know the word DAG. And DAG stands for Direct Acyclic Graph. But by now it's lost its constituent parts. Everybody takes DAG. DAG is a unit. Spark introduced it in a big way, and it's a unit of execution consisting usually of a few lines of code. And the task is how do you really execute it? DAG is code, but task is real working something, and UI is UI. Okay, with that, you see now what you're being introduced to. You're being introduced to, let's productionize your notebook. And let's put it into many places. We'll get those advantages. We will get a way to build our RAG. In addition, we will also observe these rules. These are good rules to be observed. What are they? So atomicity. None of them is a must. The interesting thing that these are best practices, not necessarily a showstopper. Atomicity means you break your big ball of code into manageable units, make them smaller. The next one, idempotency. Idempotency means that if for any reason, by mistake on purpose, you run it twice, it shouldn't break anything. It should work just as well. Now, there is an interesting glitch here. If you talk about AI, it never guarantees you the same result every time. It would not be AI, it would not be fun. Like AI is artificial human. Human is not the same every time, so it shouldn't be. So you cannot have idempotency in a perfect world, but you're not taking that as a perfect world requirement. You're saying it should be about the same. That's good enough. And you're also saying that other things will be useful when you're building such things. I'll tell you why all of that all together will come to the next step. So have an idea about version control, have a CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment in place, modular design and testing again. If that doesn't completely work, you can still build it. Okay. Then let's talk about what is atomicity. Here you don't go overboard. You know, don't go too much into very little steps, and that's exactly the same thing you would discuss when you are doing microservices. So that's one. Idempotent, one example of not idempotent. If you're getting the time right now, that probably is not idempotent because it will give you the result right now. And if you're wondering what happened on Friday, you won't know. Well, Friday is today, so you're wondering about Thursday. So, okay, there is a what's called environment or what's called, I think, context, and you store, you cook and bake, and that is where you get your environment, and that's provided by Airflow. So that's why that works. And now you're saying, okay, that's my use case. I will update my book database. Okay, the books are a good subject. Put your favorite book in there and talk about it. So that's what would be the imaginary application. But we now build it not a one-time application. By the way, dear to my heart, I have one application. I update it every regular. I mean, I have an application to talk to my specific documents, and I updated. Well, I'll review. I call it Moses AI. It talks to philosophical documents, and so update that, make it a production pipeline. I always run it by hand, so that's a good case for me as well. But you guys will ask, why is that? By now, I think everybody's pretty clear, because it will be production. It will be robust. It will be, you will be able to see, did it work or no? That's called observability. And then it will be robust in the sense that, you know, when it failed, you do something about this, not go back and find out what happened, and you use essentially the same code. So it's not hard, at least theoretically, and that's where the course comes in. You learn about how to do it. So you take a notebook, convert it into a pipeline. Why did it go back? I'm not sure. We were already here. Oh, I think it goes back in my folder. It just circles. Okay, that is it. So let's look at the comments. Okay, Parag, recordings are all there. Let's go. On ElephantScale, we have webinars. On webinars, we have this webinar. On this webinar, we have recordings. So the last one was 0516. You're right. I don't see the latest and greatest. They will appear, and I am doing this right away. I have a place to do the very important things. Right here. Publish webinars latest shows. And if we have it live on YouTube also, well, very well, we'll do it. Thank you. Hope that was exactly what you were interested in. So now let's take a breath, because we just jumped into this being, I think, very exciting. And I tell you why. The next two steps will tell you why. So, but I didn't say hello. That's me, Mark. And I am mostly interested in the latest and greatest for the coding, for the people who do that. So I tried, I put it into my repository, and it's all found here on the learning path. So if you click right here on the learning path, and that's people very often ask, what is it? What's this Go? I'm not sure what this Go is. So that is a learning path for anybody who wants to learn something. That is a good path, I think, and it consists of those entries. What it is, like prompt engineering, and in this case, also kind of a subject, but usually it will be different. So LangChain for LLM apps, that was the official name. What is it about? It's about LangChain. Where's the link to the course? Here's the link to the course. Where is it in my repository with all the keys? Well, at least hidden keys. That's where it is. That's however we want to use it, and we verified or used to verify it, so you see how it was. So that's what it is about. Get the software, try it. And the one, oh, I shouldn't have closed. And the one that I was talking about, it's the latest entry. So if we go all the way down, it's building big and stable apps with Astronomer and Airflow. That's what it is. That's linked to the course, and down below there will be my repository. And the truth is that I'm teaching people these courses. Yes, we are a training company, and it's one thing. Some people you can send them. You can say, "Hey, that's the link to your course. Just go and learn." That's not how it works in the corporate environment. It's, hello, kids, we're going to learn it all together next week and sign up. And that's what I do. So, kind of a babysitter. All right. So, that was step number one. The new course, what it offers you Airflow with Astronomer. By the way, I did look at what ChatGPT had to say about that. Random. So, what is? I mean, my question was simply, what does Astronomer, what do they have to do with teaching Airflow? Airflow is Airflow without them. I remember it is part of another system, so people use it in many places. It explained that, well, Airflow is the product, and the Astronomer is, as they say, a platform to run, and they have multiple subscriptions. And what are the prices, you ask me? 30 cents per hour. That is the price for a developer for you to start playing. And I think 40 cents for more souped up edition, and ask and call if you want to build something bigger. That is what it told me. So I knew I wasn't on track. All right, that was the first one. The next one was something that I really do all the time. But let me show really what they do. And I got in touch with them, well, because I do that. And I thought about their platform. It seems like, we'll come to that, it seems like they build custom solutions based on their platform, not that they give those solutions out to me, who they, I think, realized was a competitor. So after a while, they realized that it's not so much a client as a competitor. In any case, who are they? Okay, well, they are called Hyperscience, and that's what they do. So they process those kinds of documents. Now, what's hard with that document? Well, first of all, it's handwritten. Now, my practical experience that it's not a showstopper. Handwritten is okay, and in fact, I'm on Azure, and on Azure, the OCR on Azure is pretty good. For the handwritten documents. The other complication is, look at those labels. They go vertical. Yeah, that is, it's a little bit harder. Humans take such things pretty easily, but humans don't enjoy processing millions of forms, and we are coming to that. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So their approach is to combined. And I'm not sure if it's only technical, it's also a marketing. So they have the first platform which they call OICAR, Optical Intelligence Character Recognition, and they say, oh, no training required. How cool is that? What they mean is that on many platforms, let's say start with Azure, there is Intelligence Studio, but it's old style. You have to train for each group of documents independently. And the new style is if you give the AI the transcription, if you give it the text, then it will be your brain. You will pretend to be very, very smart, but really it's AI working. Now, that still gives you a problem. So in the end, you will also need special image processing, but that's later on. Okay, so more powerful models with less risk is it's all marketing, but we are going to build better document processing technique. Okay, now what they also point out is that usually is not perfect, not 100% perfect. So you will need a display like that. I wonder if I can make it bigger. And then a little bit bigger, okay? You will need a display like that, and you will be able to give an operator console. So when they say no training required, but in truth, that's only a first selling point, then you really need to give the customer a dashboard. Okay, you do that, and then you keep developing. So these are the problems that you encounter. Let's say you deal with any organization. Okay, so they will scan their documents. And usually, like my scanner, if you keep pressing the same button, skip further, it will keep scanning further, which means that you end up with a PDF that has maybe hundreds of pages and maybe it has multiple documents. So break them up. That's what they do. Break them up. That's the first step. Then that is what the human does today and what their solution is. And I think that many people here do work with these same problems. So honestly, what I learned from them is what their thinking was. What did their programmers had to do to process such things? And, you know, they tell you, much as they would not want to do so, but at the same time, by telling you what they did and showing you those pictures, you get a good idea. All right. Okay, optimize cost, meaning you will pay us. The next, reduce variability in document processes just means that AI today is smart. And investigate, can you delegate more and more to the AI? Now that comes to the interesting statement. Sam Altman said that in the beginning, all of the startups were betting against AI. What they were saying is that AI has these problems, the problems will stay, and we will build our new venture on these deficiencies of AI. So now he says 90% are betting for AI. What they're saying is that AI constantly improves, and very soon you will not need to do what you need to do. So perhaps those guys will also do it, or maybe they will say, okay, it's working for me now, so why should I change it even though there is new technology? These will be two approaches all the time because AI changes too fast. It's more so than any other approach. Before it was years. Look, there's a new technology, should I switch to that? Now it could be weeks. You put in the number. In any case, they had to break the document into multiple parts. Then they add, and now you see what they add. They add astronomer. Not necessarily astronomer, but they definitely break their tasks in individual steps, and that's why it works very well. That's why they are a use case for orchestrator. Exactly. Okay. Then you want to scale. Now that Astronomer or any other platform would allow you to scale, you can put it here. Well, you listen carefully and they say, well, that's in the future. So not every box here is already working. Yes, you can use them, but that's a little bit to impress the gullible client than to really say we have all of that. And besides, they don't give it to you anyway. Then in the demo, they show exactly the same thing. They show, look, I got a document, a loan document, and there was an inspection, and that's all came in one very big PDF, of course. And we broke it up, we analyzed it, and we could have our loan processing documents talk to our documents. Okay, that's practical application. Then you can ask things like, is the house rotting? Are there any signs of uh, something foundational? And even handwritten notes go in, and that's where AI just increase humans' capabilities. We're still living in houses. We still buy them. We still need the home inspection. We still use these notes, but now AI helps us to find it. So we can give the loans and we can approve that faster. That is it. By the way, that is an example of a picture that they would analyze. So somebody had a medical age accident, and that somebody, well, came back from vacation. And our question now, was that somebody on skis or was he on a snowboard? There you are, the picture will tell you. All right, so back to the first number. And now I know that it just circles through them. So what I promised is that I'll show you how to build applications and how to find a real use case. So you can listen to them, you can hear where they are, and it is government document processing. Okay, good. Come up for a breath and look at the chat. Foundational damage, yes. Yes, Lindsay, but I know, Lindsay, that you want to talk about that later on. So I hope you'll get me a good presentation. Now, the third thing. So here you are. We talked about all of these new things, which Andrew Ng told us will continue. And there you are. You have a new course every week, which means you really need to learn that new course every week. So you're not surprised that Andrew Ng comes and he says, the very first what he says. I'll just read it because who am I to retell his inimitable style? There is a new breed of Gen AI application engineers, which means it's us guys. It's those people, you and me, who are building some kinds of applications on AI. What can they do? Who can build more powerful applications faster? Well, that's marketing than was possible before, but that we'll agree. And thanks to generative AI, that is really the secret. So individuals who can play this role, who are they? Are highly sought after by businesses, right? But the job description is still coming into focus, and I, Andrew Ng, come today to explain it to you. Let me describe their key skills as well as the sorts of interview questions I can use to identify them. So I think the claim is that is a very promising profession or business, and they should be able and I will teach you all about it, he says, but I see lots of comments. I'll get back to them. One more paragraph. Skilled AI engineers, what are they? They're able to use the new building blocks to quickly build powerful applications. That's kind of, yes, that's what they are, right? And that's how you recognize one. But then they are able to use AI assistants to carry out rapid engineering, building software systems in dramatically less time. That's all advertisement. And what's important are the building blocks. You can think of Lego bricks. In other words, well, to sound my own horn, come to this webinar or just watch his newsletter, subscribe, go through the new thing, accept a kind of life in which you will be learning every week. And you learn something new every week, because if the technology changes, you are out of fashion. You need to be with the latest, he says. And we understand why. All right, so my personal case, I'll tell you, I'm a learner, right? I said that I'm going to learn something new every day. And my claim was then that I'm young and therefore a doubtful connection. I can learn, but who knows, maybe later on I will not be able to learn. So let me keep training every day. It worked, but it's a questionable thing. My wife will say you were always like that. So there are 2 points of view. In any case, one of them I think is definitely okay to keep learning exactly the new things. And that seems to be the way of life that at least Andrew Ng prepares us for. Well, he is kind of touting his horn because he is educational institution. All right, you said many interesting things. I'm going to our comments. Let's see. So your voice is moving, is fainting on and off. That is absolutely fantastically great comment. What I will do is I will really buy a microphone. I need one. I use something that's built in. So really, that goes to the next step right here. For the next session, I will absolutely do it. All right. Lanza, I'm implementing all in AWS. Well, maybe I think Lanza, what you will gain is an existing platform. They offer you any one of the clouds, but the cloud there has to be, and it may be easier and cheaper with Astronomer just because you will not have to build so much. All right. Now, next question. I'm unclear on the boundaries that Astronomer can handle. Example, data inference, yes. Hosting sales page, hosting processing pipeline. I'm not exactly sure what your questions are. I can give you the mic if you want to discuss Lancer. Or maybe take it offline. Just let's discuss it one day. All right. And I'm told that it's a good start for Logitech Creators Microphone Pod. Wow, thank you very much, Steve. That's awesome. Because what you do is what I do is just ask friends, and that's a limited, very friendly personal experience that you get. What I recorded is here, and boy, next time you will get a better thing, especially with Amazon delivery style. All right, let's see what else. That's very good advice. That's friendly. If I ever manage how to do live broadcast on YouTube, I already looked at them. At the two are complementary. We will stay with that. We will stay with at least I think we will stay with this. We are on what? Zoom, right? But in addition, you can broadcast to YouTube. Okay, so I'll do that. Thank you very, very much for your encouragement because, I need you at least as much as you need me. And I have to prepare every week. So I'm pushed to learn. And I just confess that that's my goal in life, to keep learning. And you help me there. All right. Thank you very much. Micro Center is also a great place. And you can try and return maybe. But I'm done. So let me do this. Let me stop share. And let me ask you, do you want to ask any questions? And let me shut myself up. That sometimes helps to provoke more questions, but this time it didn't work. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. Be well. Wishing you a great day today, great weekend, and a great year ahead. Yeah, and I do appreciate you. Be well.